Hey, you got Polestar on. So
I got
you
Polestar
can go.
on.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, that's quick.
That's excellent.
Good news, everyone. Volvo has reduced the amount of words in the name of their vehicle.
They have. This is less than we've seen in a while.
Yes, this is the V60. It is the T8, that's the platform, it's all-wheel drive, and the most important thing you need to know is that it's Polestar engineered. That is part of the title. It's the wagon, it's the cool wagon. Polestar engineered. It's the one you want, and with every subsequent vehicle that we drive, from Volvo.
Yes.
I like them more and more and more.
They're doing such good work right now. It's really good stuff.
It's so good to drive. And this one is the hidden performance version.
It is.
And it's the wagon. Volvo needs to not ever stop producing the wagon because of their entire lineup. This is the coolest. It's the coolest looking.
It is
It's
very
quick.
cool.
It is a hidden sports car, flat out. Well, it's a secret sports car.
That's great. Thanks for watching.
Great cars, great roads, and all the reasons we love to drive. Road trips, comparisons, test drives, and podcasts. This is Everyday Driver.
The reality is, this actually competes with stuff much, much higher on the food chain.
That's a great
If you want
point.
to shop for a fast, usable, all-wheel drive family wagon, you're right now thinking of the M5 wagon and the RS6.
Yes.
But now go actually shop for one of those and look at what the prices are on those.
It's true.
This is $72,000, almost $73,000, which on one level, $73,000 is not no money. That's legit money. It's like half of the other ones we're talking about.
You're right.
This is a 50% discount on a performance wagon, and this is the stealth one too. Don't get it in white. Don't get it in white.
No.
But all-wheel drive, thanks to an electric motor in the rear, and also electric assist has taken the place of that turbo. So it's that same 2-liter motor that Volvo's been putting in everything. So 2-liter turboed, not supercharged, because the electric motor's taking the place of supercharged.
Right, that one away, yeah.
As a result, it's got what, 400 and something horsepower?
455 horsepower.
That's right, yes.
312 of that is from the turbo engine. And then 523 pound-feet of torque.
Which is a lot.
I've loved the stealth nature of all the Volvos we drive. When you stomp on it, people are like, what was that?
Yes, for sure.
That just left everyone. And it leaves you around the corners. That's where the Polestar engineered goodness comes into play. You can see all the gold-colored bits on this car, from the valve stem caps to the calipers, and now to the knobs underneath at each strut. Those are Öhlins dampers. Polestar has engineered stiffer springs for these, unique bump stops. Who advertises bump stops?
Whoever discusses bump stops.
I guess
go through the typical
Polestar
press information, just try to find the word bump stops. It's not there.
Bump stops on this car.
Yeah.
Along with the Öhlins dampers and a unique suspension setup that makes this a true sports car.
I'm very impressed with the dynamics.
Shocking. It's great around corners.
Originally, it is actually kind of shipped to you with quite a bit of stiffness in the suspension, and you can alter that. But altering that, interestingly enough, is not something done in the cabin. It's not something done on the screen. You have to get out there as a person with fingers and get underneath the...
You use your fingers.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, you actually have to turn knobs and stuff underneath the hood. Well, here's what's great about it. You can act like you understand how your car works. You can be on the side of the road with the hood up, and you can actually touch things, and the car drives different.
You can be involved with your car.
You can act like you're a mechanic doing crazy things, but all you're doing is adjusting the dampers. So you could actually go softer than the way it comes from the factory. Of course, you can go stiffer as well. So those adjustable dampers are all manual, but they also don't connect, so you could get one stiffer than the other. You could do it wrong.
You could set up for NASCAR.
You could, yeah.
Just oval tracks.
There you go, perfect, I love it.
All right, so for the performance setting on the car to be activated, to come alive, it is in the screen. It's still in the screen. If you go to the bottom right, it is the gear, and then you go to your drive mode and go into the Polestar drive mode. Why isn't it sport? And why isn't there a Polestar button with the cool Polestar logo on a button right here?
Yes, agreed.
There's space.
Totally agree. Yep.
I'm sure there's space in here. We could make a button, and that just goes right into Polestar mode. If you want to go and leave it in hybrid and always start drive mode in pure, you can have that choice, and fine. I'm fine with that as a setting in the screen, but
it should be instantaneous.
Should be an
I would
awesome
like Polestar
button.
right now. Yes, I totally agree.
Because the car does not come with paddles, nor does it need it. I don't use the word seamless ever.
You really do. In fact, you hate it. That's a word you loathe. Yes.
Seamless, when you use the word seamless, it always gets you into trouble. Because you say something is seamless, and then inevitably something gets screwed up.
The seams
The
reveal themselves.
The connection is just not there.
Oh, there's the seam there.
But
what's in here?
On this car, the connection between what the engine is doing when it comes to life and the difference between using the electric motors and combined with the engine and then using the Geartronic shifter, you don't have to do anything.
True.
You just stomp it and turn in, and it's nearly flat depending on how you've set up your suspension.
Certainly.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
This thing's quick.
It's quick. It handles well.
Is it electric?
Looks good.
Is it gas? I don't know.
Yes.
And at this point, you don't care.
True. This
It's
does
just
about 40 miles all EV, which is worthwhile. I mean, most people's day, you can probably do 40 miles all EV, but it is a plug-in hybrid, which means it has all of the above working, and it does do a really good job of handing off back and forth so that you as the driver have no idea what setting it's on. You just know it works, and it's smooth and quiet when you want it to be, and a surprising stealth performance car when you want it to be that.
That's the best part about it. And up to this point, I don't know that we've heard too much chatter about people who aren't liking their 2-liter Volvo engines, because this engine has been around for a while.
They've done this for
and
a
I
bit.
think it's the biggest thing that keeps people skeptical and holds people back, I would say. Look around, it's got the Thor's hammer. It doesn't look overly aggressive, even though it can be. I'm a little surprised that this only comes with 19s. They're 235 width. So, okay, you could go a little bit wider, but I like that it's so understated. I really appreciate the rear taillight design. It's unique. It doesn't say SUV, but it has a unique Volvo style to it. And my big concern over the years has been when Geely did acquire Volvo. And styling changed, but has really been so subdued, but beautiful. There's a crisp theme down the shoulder. And the stance looks so good. Volvo has done really well with their styling. You jump into the interior. This interior has been around for quite a while, but it still looks fresh.
It does still look good.
And on a 2025 car, it's interesting to see this styling still look good. The way the vents work, the way the screen interaction works, it's more of a vertical format. I think it's really well integrated into the car.
Agreed.
Volume knob, you still get the crystal gear shift lever, which is, okay, cool. I like it. And then when you pop the hatch in the back, there's no spare tire. You get a bottle of goo because, of course,
pretty standard now.
The battery and the electric motors are taking up whatever spare tire space that you have. And then the charging cable is back there too, so that's just under the floor, but it's a wagon, got plenty of space. The rear seats are great.
Tons of legroom and good headroom as well.
And then we come to among the best seats in the business.
Absolutely.
Hands down.
Yes,
I don't care what price level you're talking about.
Totally
Just
agree.
the front thigh bolster alone is a
I know.
piece of sculpture. Everything is so refined on this, and it's friendly to use. You can just jump in and go, except for this start, stop, knob, switch, rheostat thing that I
Turns
still
the
don't
same way for start
understand.
and for stop, but okay.
Little tiny things, but otherwise, I'm kind of in love with this Volvo.
This is what I so wish families were buying, is really cool wagons. And I know we're in the middle of the SUV craze, and it's probably ongoing because people believe they have to sit high to survive. I get it. I understand the logic here. But in that world of another 5-seat silver CUV that looks vaguely the same, this is wonderfully different. This is wonderfully different.
Yes.
And, I've said this before, I think this is the nice step up from somebody that has traditionally bought an Outback. The Outback does great at what it does, but if you don't want that rugged feel, you want a more city feel or a more like nice night out feel, this is your car. And I'm so impressed with the amount of backseat space. The 60 level, the S60 or the V60, even though they're the mid-grade, you'll be astonished by the amount of backseat room. And then, of course, this has a hatch on it. I'm just in love with the form factor of this. This totally, for me, sells wagons. I don't think many people are going to buy it, but this is Volvo doing it right.
You got to drive this.
Excited.
You should get gold seatbelts.
I'm telling you, that's really why you bought it, was just gold seatbelts.
In Porsche and Volvo, I'll give you gold seatbelts.
You're trying to make the equivalency. I see where you are. Yeah, I get it. That's funny. These Öhlins have given this a really great, very stiff feel. Not punishing, but just very taut, very sports car-like. It is amazing how much that's the sensation.
I mean, these are good seats.
Oh, they're such good seats. I agree. They're just, Volvo kills it on seats. They always do. Look, I've driven 3 blocks, and I want to drive cross country. It's one of those kind of vehicles. It's just like, well, yeah, we should really go somewhere in this. We should like pack it and go. It just has a really nice road feel. There's no wallowing about it at all. There's plenty of power, and I'm not even trying.
I think it drives easily.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think there's a little bit more steering feel than other big, heavy SUVs and cars we've driven. I think there's a little bit here.
I think the
especially in Polestar mode.
The Polestar setup has given it a little bit of tactility, just a little bit of, oh, you're kind of involved, we're kind of giving you info. I mean, this is still a Volvo wagon. It's not like, oh wow, all the sports car nuance of it. No,
certainly not.
But I'm just saying, a little bit more. Impressed with,
I'm surprised,
the dynamic feel here. I'm incredibly impressed with how it feels simultaneously solid and yet comfortable. And most of the time, it's one or the other. Like, this is really comfortable, but it doesn't feel all that like ready to do anything, or it's really ready to do everything, but my back hurts. Those are kind of where you end up. And this really walks that line well. And I'm so impressed with we've been impressed with Volvos of late anyway. And you bring up a very good point. The styling now has been around a long time. The interior has been around, it feels like even longer than that. All of this should feel old. And yet when I start to think about low $70,000 and the other things you can buy for that, this is a genuine contender.
Yeah, agreed.
And I also think about, I'll give you a great example of an SUV this competes with that we like, that I prefer this. And that is the Genesis GV70. We really like that SUV.
Yes.
The way you want that car is about $70,000. That's the way you want that SUV. You want the performance model, you want all the bells and whistles and everything good, roughly $70,000. This has a better back seat and a better hatch. And I would rather drive it because I prefer the car feel.
Yes.
And I say that as a person that genuinely loves the GV70. We have talked about it on our podcast many times. We've recommended it more times than I can count. It is a standout in 5-seat SUVs. And if it were my money, out of not everybody, I would buy this, just not in white.
I agree with you. This is a special car.
It's very cool.
It's a hidden gem.
If you're looking for a Volvo V60 or Polestar car or anything that is a fun family car, go to autotempest.com/everyday. You can search all of the car searches in one place, generally faster than those searches are on their own.
Yeah, you can even check dealer inventory, and you can filter your search by exactly what you want. If it's the V6, if it's Polestar engineering, you can add that to the search terms. Go to autotempest.com/everyday so they know that we sent you. All the cars, one search. You know, the handling, I feel like, is approaching Type S kind of feel from Acura.
Interesting thought. Okay. Yeah.
I think it's starting to be in that same league. Only in Polestar mode, only with the Olens. This is special springs, special suspension.
Yeah.
But it's brought the car to life, and it rides lighter. I haven't ridden over here until now. It feels lighter. It rides lighter to me. It feels just more nimble about itself.
Yeah, it does. It does. There's no slop in this wheel. There's no dead spot. It's right off center and you're turning. And some people don't like that because it can feel jittery. I actually really like that. I prefer it. And so you're actually driving here and it rewards you for it. But yet you're going to have screaming kids with Cheerios in the back and all of the stuff behind that. And you could go cross country as long as you could tolerate the noise from all the kids. You could go cross country for a while. But I mean, also, you know what? I bet you with very few adjustments to your seat, you could do a rear-facing child seat behind you. There's a lot of space back there. A lot of leg room, good headroom. This is a genuine family car, and this is the great bait and switch of so many 5-seat SUVs and CUVs is they aren't actually great family cars. You have ride height, but not a lot of room behind the driver and passenger seat. This has great room in the back and good storage. I'm very impressed. This is a victory for wagons, but it's beyond that. It's a victory for performance wagons.
Yes.
Because all the performance wagons that we as car enthusiasts lust after are twice as expensive as this. That's the big thing I keep coming back to. The RS6 and the M5 and the performance wagons that we go, oh, you know what you should get? You should get a performance wagon. And
true.
Yeah, it's like $150,000 for the one you want.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's a great point.
And here this is at 72, offering most of that, and it adds stealth. And maybe you want shouty. This isn't shouty. This is a Volvo. We don't shout over here. We whisper. We whisper in the Volvo. But
the first rule of Fight Club.
the first rule of Volvo is But in spite of the fact it's quiet as a library, it drives great.
It drives great. I like this a lot. This is good news for enthusiasts.
I agree.
And you know what? If Volvo continues Polestar engineering any of their lineup, I hope it continues with the Wagon, but if they apply this thinking to anything in their portfolio, they've got a genuine sports car contender. It's one of those cars that we recommend on the podcast for enthusiasts who don't want to give up a sports car. They love their family and they want a family and their family is growing, and that's most important. But then what do I get that still kind of ties into that freedom of a sports car?
I still might like driving, yeah.
It's this.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
100%.